Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of One Handy Guy. My name's Tim, and this episode we're going to go over some. I get a lot of questions about this, so I thought it might be something to cover, and I think it was really eye-opening to me when I learned how to do this. But using Fusion 360 with my Langmuir Crossfire Pro, one of the first things I wanted to do when I first got it was make a bunch of signs, and I like old gas station signs, so I'm just going to kind of go over with you the process that I use to learn how to do this, and hopefully you'll learn some things. But anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to swap over to my screen here where you can kind of see what's going on. And first thing we want to do, let's just go to the internet, and we're just going to find, let me pull this over where everybody can see it. I need to shrink that down just a little. So let's just go and Google old gas station signs. You can see that's something I do quite a bit because it popped up right off the. I guess it would help if I spelled it right. All right, now we looked through. We got all kinds of different ones. Tell you one that I've been looking at or wanting to find, and I hadn't seen it. We can just go to images and see if we get a little better there. But this Sinclair sign looked like something that I might want to make a sign. I don't have this one yet, so let's just go here and notice that it's on Amazon. So first thing I want to do, I'm just going to use two fingers. If you're using another computer system other than Mac, you'd want to right click, but use two fingers and just save this image. So we're going to save this as Sinclair. All right. So we'll save that. And I think that gives us our, yeah, there it is right here on the screen. I doubt, probably not in your view, but I've got a good, and you'll notice it's a JPEG image. So very hard to work with a JPEG image in Fusion 360. So my next step, I want to convert this to an SVG file. Don't want to go to a DXF, I want to go to an SVG. So all I'm going to do is click on a new tab here, and this is a website if you're not familiar with, you need to put it in your tabs, but it's called Convertio right here. And we're going to go to that here in a second. I also want you to be aware you got a lot of different places to get free SVG files. Like you can go here to free DXF, and they literally have thousands of DXF files that you can download and copy for free. I mean, if you're a Harley Davidson fan, all you'd have to do is cut this, and it's real simple. You click on it, you get a bunch of advertising crap, just close that out. And then you come on down and you can download it as an SVG file, which I highly recommend as opposed to a DXF, because this is scalable and you can make this any size you want. So if I was wanting to do a Harley sign, I'd just click download here. You got to wait a few seconds, and there it popped up. So then I would save that to my desktop, and I'll pull that up in Fusion 360 where you can see that also. So we'll go back to that after a while. But the main site I wanted you to look at today was this Convertio. This is a free file converter. You can do, I think, up to 500 a day, so you'll never have to pay for it. But anyway, first thing we're going to do is choose the one that we downloaded, Sinclair. All right, and we've got that uploaded into their system. Then we want to convert that to an image file, and we want to convert it to an SVG file. So we do that, we hit convert, and it's converting it to an SVG file for us. All right, then all we're going to do is simply download it, save it, and we've got it. Okay, so we've got our files that we want to make from the internet. Now we're going to go into Fusion 360 and simply create a new design. I've already opened Fusion 360, so we're going to just simply go to create a sketch, and we'll go here in the bottom right quadrant and click here to create a new sketch. And then all we want to do is come here over to Insert and click Insert SVG. So once we click on that, we're going to get options of, we got something already in, but we're going to download this from our computer, and we're just going to click on that and click Open. And then right away you'll see it popped up, and all we've got to do is scale it to whatever size we want. I'm going to make it just a little bigger for me to see it and work with, and I can always scale this on my machine to whatever size I want. So it's kind of irrelevant what I want to do here as far as size. I'm just looking at how easy I can see it and manipulate it. So we're going to click OK. And right off the bat, you'll see there's a lot of trash in this. So if I click here, that's what we get right now. And obviously that's not what we want. So now we got to do some work. And this is where just the editing comes into play. So first thing I'm going to do is open this up, get it big, kind of see what I got. You can see I've got a lot of little just trash here in the dinosaur. So all I'm going to do is just drag over it, delete it. And I know this is going to take a little while, but I just want you to kind of see the process anytime you're doing something like this. We got a little something here. I've got to blow that up where I can see it a little better. And you can see there's a little bit of trash right there, so we're going to pull that out. All right, I think we're pretty good. Some of the things that look like trash on there are not trash. It's just my screen is so badly damaged from where I run my plasma cutter with it. All right, the other thing you're going to notice, look at the A and the O. That's not going to cut out and look well. So we want to add some lines, do some things to make that where it's going to print out well. So let's just come down here, and once again we're going to probably go with up and down. So I'm going to go to my line tool. I'm going to come over here, create a line down. I'm going to give it a little bit of an angle, maybe get a little better cut. I'm going to come over here, double click. And then I think I'm going to use my box tool to come down through the O. So let's just say we want to be about right there. That's going to be too big. So I'm going to just stop right there and hit Edit Undo. Let's try that a little less. Taken out on the O. So let's go to about right there, and that should work pretty good. All right, so once again, I'm going to get over here and get rid of my points, my dimensions, and my constraints. So that's kind of out of my view. Now I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm just going to clip out what I need to clip out so that that O will cut out and appear correct. Make it a little larger where I can see it. We're going to take that out, take that out. So now that O should cut out correctly. Let's go over and cut some of these parts out of the A. And as you can see, as I get closer, I didn't quite make it with that line. So let's draw another line. Now let's take our scissors and cut these parts out. And now our A should look right. So if we back out and we click on that, now you can see the A and the O a little better. So we got a good picture of what that's going to look like. All right, now I don't want all this to just drop out, which is what's going to happen currently. So I've got to open this box up. So the first thing I want to do, notice I've got two boxes here. So I think I want to delete, let's delete the outer one first. And then we're going to make it a little bigger, and this will make sense in a second. Whoop. So we're going to continue deleting the outer line. I know this is painstaking, but this is kind of the process you got to do if you want to be able to make this stuff. And also why designers charge a lot of money to make things. We're just going to continue deleting these lines until we're left with one line. Okay, I just didn't like the gap between. It wasn't really big enough. I found that for this to cut out and leave something, it's going to have to be a little bit bigger. So the next thing I want to do is select what I think is a pretty cool tool, is this offset tool. So I'm going to click that, and then I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to make that line back that we just cut, but I'm going to make it a little fatter. And I think we're good at about that. All right, now we want to open this up, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take our tool, and let's just come here. We want to give it some meat so it has something to, and then I want to be on the same plane. You notice the little line that's coming as I come across? That's telling me I'm on the same plane. So when that ever appears, there we go. I'm on the same plane. I want to build the exact same distance. And that tells me that's the same. So now I have two matching cutouts on either side, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough. So I think we're going to see this looks like about center. So we're going to do one up top here as well. And I want to do the same thing. I want to drag down and get the same setup as above. And I can tell there that I'm not quite centered, but it's going to look close enough. So let's come up and let's open this up. Blow this up a little bigger where I can see the little bitty lines. And one more, this one down at the bottom. So we're going to do the same thing. It looks like I got a little bitty piece of trash hanging over right there. You can't see unless I blow it up really big, but there we go, we got it. You want to make sure and get all those, because what will happen, it'll just cause the plasma head to go up and down several times and cause more plunge cuts, which just makes more holes, makes a little bigger mess. Okay, so now we've opened that up, and if I click on it, now you kind of see what's happening. So now these all the parts in white are the parts that are going to fall out. If you wanted to actually keep the dinosaur, all we'd have to do is put a couple of breaks in the dinosaur, and then you could paint it a different color, which for what I want, I'm more likely going to do that instead of letting that piece just fall out. So we'll come back to that before we get it all set and ready to cut out. So now we got to fix our letters in here. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to blow it up where we can see it good. And anywhere we got an A, we know we got to open it up. Now this A, I think I may go across the other way. No right or wrong here, it's just whatever happens to work for you. And then the D. And on the D, I'm thinking maybe just one across on the fat area here. We'll make it pretty wide. All right. And we can always go back and undo this. This is the one I'm just not sure what that's going to look like, so let's do it first. Let's see what I think that'll look okay. I don't know, it might be a little too much out of the D, but I think in the whole scheme of things, it'll be okay. All right, let's go back and let's fix our O. And let's fix the A up here. Okay, so if we zoom out now, we click on this, and that's going to show you what we're going to look like. So I think we're looking pretty good. Well, the last thing we want to fix is this outer ring. I don't like how that's turning out. We're actually going to triple ring it so it will look better all the way around the board. So let's delete all this. I'll tell you what, let's just try and speed this process up a little by selecting a little more at a time. Same thing down here. A whole lot of trash there. Okay, let's get rid of the rest of this outer line. Looks like we got more trash down here, so we're going to have to zoom in. I'm going to try and get rid of a good chunk here. And we'll just work our way around till all that line is gone. You'll notice when it comes to circles like this, better off because that might be in 6 different little tiny lines. Okay. Can't have too much more. We'll zoom out. All right, once again, we're going to go to our offset tool. Let's shrink it down a little bit. Right here, click our offset. Let's select this curve. And this time we want to go out. This is what's going to drop out. So we're going to make that about let's go about a 1/2 inch. Now, well, that's almost a 1/2 inch. Tell you what, let's do let's do a 0.3. That's what's going to fall out. So that should be about right. All right, and then we want to create one more offset. Oops, went the wrong way with it. Edit, undo. Let's offset. I should have done a minus 0.3. Let's go 0.35. So let's change that up. Minus 0.35. Click OK. Okay, there we have it. All right, now we want to do one more offset, which will actually be the part that actually cuts out. And I'm still not sure about this one. Maybe let's cut out a quarter, not 0.35. Let's try that. Actually went one too far on the undo, so I had to redo. All right, so let's click our offset again. We're going to click on this. We're going to come out minus 0.25. That looks better. All right, now we're going to click our offset one more time. We're going to choose this line. And we're going to go out. Let's go out minus 0.75, which will give me a ½ inch. On the outer ring. Okay. So now if we click here, you can still see that that's all we've got. So what we want to do next is create some bars going across. And we want to line this up where it's fairly close to the same spot everywhere. So let's just say that about right here. All right, I think the easiest way to do this is just going to be to create a construction line. So we come over here, change our solid line to a construction line. It's going to get me about center, and I want to run that all the way across. And I want to run one up and down the same way, so that's going to give me like a crosshair. It just gives me I want to take it to 90 degrees. Gives me a good bearing on where I want to put my little breaks. So let's this is the area right here that we want to kind of separate out, and I want to leave a good chunk. So I think we're just going to go like this. I forgot to change it to out of a construction line, so we're going to click that, click it back, undo. Let's change our line type back to our normal line, and let's put our little cutout area again. So we're going to go right there, and we're just going to slide all the way across and do the same thing on this side. All right, since we've taken up roughly 2 squares, we're going to do the same thing up here. And the same thing on the bottom. All right, now we go back to our scissors, and our goal is to get all this to come together. So and I hope you can see what's going on here. Do the same thing on this side. You don't have to worry about the construction line because it's not going to cut out. Make sure we didn't leave any trash in there. I don't think we did. And we'll do the top. So in essence, all I'm wanting to do is cap this out, each one, so you can see that cuts out, that cuts out, this cuts out, this cuts out, all my letters cut out. Hope you get the drift of what's going on. Okay, we look all good everywhere. The only thing we're missing now is some holes to screw it to the wall. So let's put a couple of those in and I think we'll call it. So let's come here. Let's drop a hole right there. And I say we just make these about a 0.2. A little less than 1/4 of an inch. And let's put a hole here. Now keep in mind as you resize this on your machine, the hole's going to get bigger or smaller also. So 0.2 works pretty good. You can go up a ways, down a ways, and you're still okay with that size hole. This is where we're actually going to screw it to the wall. And let's put one more. Okay, so that gives us all we want. And you can see now I click on that, that's exactly what's going to cut out. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be putting this against a black wall and I don't want this dinosaur to be black. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of breaks on my dinosaur and it will cut it, but it won't fall out. So let's just drop a few lines, break a few areas. Do one there. It's like creating tabs to make sure it doesn't all fall apart. Maybe one up here in the neck. So that's going to keep it connected to the main body. All right, now let's just cut out these breaks in between, get rid of our lines. I know this is a long video, but it just takes a while to get this stuff where you can actually make a sign out of it. I'm wondering I might need a couple more just to secure the leg area. I think that'll be okay. Okay, so now you can see by clicking here, the dinosaur does not fall out, but it will be outlined where I can paint it and it'll look pretty cool. So anyway, hope this helps. Once I've got all my sign design done, I downloaded the picture that I wanted, converted it to an SVG file, uploaded it here, and now we're going to save it. I'm just going to call it Sinclair. I'll save that file, go to our manufacturing page. I'm going to be cutting this out of 1/8 inch, so I'm going to go to my setup. Once again, choose the point that I want to start. I got to choose my machine, which is going to be my razor weld. All right, we're cutting the sketch. All I gotta do is click on it. It's Sinclair. Click OK. My setup is done. My next process is the cutting. I select the cutting tool, which once again is my razor weld. Hit select. It defaults to what I've got set at 80. I think I'm going to change this to 90 because I'm finding I'm getting better cuts. Which, by the way, instead of making the change every time, all I got to do is click over here and click Save as User Default. Now, every time I click my razor weld, it's going to pop up 90 inches per minute as my default speed. So, got that set up. Remember, we got to go across these tabs. We got this Tool tab, the Geometry tab. That's where we choose what we're actually cutting. And we're going to choose the sketch. That tells the cutter what we're going to cut. The next tab I look at is the passes. I want a finishing overlap on this particular one of 1/8 of an inch, so we'll leave that alone. I want it to come in at the center. Everything looks good. I don't want a lead-in radius on any of this, so I think we're good to go. We'll click OK. And we get our green check marks. We're good to go. The last step is to create the G-code. So we'll just click G-code. We're going to call this Sinclair. I've got all my things set here for the cut chart. I got a half second delay. Pierce height's 0.15. All of this is good. My cut height is about a 1/16 of an inch, so we're all good here. And let's hit post. And there is my G-code. So that's been saved in the file. The next thing we'll do is go and cut that out, and that's gonna take us where we want to go. All right, I also said I was going to bring up too the Harley Davidson, so let's just create a new file over here. Do the same thing. I'm not going to have to work on the Harley because it's pretty much already cut ready. And once again, insert an SVG. Go to my computer. This time we're looking for the Harley. We open that up. And sometimes it does this. I don't know why. I'm not sure where it's at. They make it too big, too small, something, but something did not work correctly there. We'll try it again in another episode where we'll actually download the Harley and try that again. So I'm going to cancel that out. So somewhere or another, the Harley SVG is not functioning correctly. But I've had great success with a lot of other ones. That does happen occasionally. You'll just have to see how it works for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. In the next video, we'll cut out our Sinclair sign. And then once I get it painted, I'll stick a picture up in the next video at the end of what it looks like. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you got any questions, give me a shout. Enjoy doing this kind of stuff, and I hope it helps you out. So thanks a bunch and have a great day. Tim, One Handy Guy.